Hey, if you're watching this, you probably missed your lesson on Friday, which was October the 6th. This is Mrs. Warren. Please excuse my voice. But we started off with a warm-up about taxation without representation. We don't want to lose the idea that that was the only thing. There were many other causes that led to independence, such as the Boston Massacre, the Proclamation of 1763 and the Quartering Act, along with mercantilism, where they wouldn't let us trade with other foreign countries. We have some fill-in-the-blank notes called The Road to Revolution. You'll be able to get those when you come into class, or you should have those at the beginning of this presentation. After the intolerable acts from the last lesson were instituted after the Boston Tea Party, there was a group of colonists from 12 colonies that met in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. These colonies decided to join together and decide what to do in response to these intolerable acts put on Boston. They agreed to form militias, which were army of citizens. These were regular farmers, townspeople, who would be ready in a minute's notice, as they were called Minutemen. They also collected weapons and gunpowder secretly. Patrick Henry also gave a famous speech at the Virginia House of Burgesses in response to the taxation and all the liberties they believed that were being taken away from them as colonists and English citizens. His famous quote from the speech was, "Give me liberty or give me death." Or in other words, I'd rather die than live without my freedom. We talked about the ongoing British invasion, I guess you could say, of Boston. There was British spies, there was American spies, and in Lexington and Concord, some outlying villages from Boston, they were collecting and hiding weapons. The British found out this, and so did the Sons of Liberty find out that the British were going to march on Lexington. The famous ride of Paul Revere. In the North Church, there was a man with the lanterns waiting to give a signal to Paul Revere and William Dawes to race to Lexington and Concord to warn them that the British were marching onto their little villages. Please watch this video and it'll give you a better idea of Paul Revere's ride and the fallacies and misconceptions that we have about it. Now, when the British arrived, they first arrived at Lexington. It was April of 1775, and there was a small group of Minutemen waiting. They were trying to negotiate for everybody to back down, and then all of a sudden, there was a shot that rang out. More shots were then fired. Nobody knows who fired the first shot. Of course, this is after Paul Revere warned people that they were coming. The colonists were outnumbered at Lexington, and then the British moved on to Concord. There were many more Minutemen that were waiting, and then were able to push the British back to Boston. This is considered the first battle of the American Revolution, which led to the Declaration of Independence soon following in July of 1776. That shot that was fired was called the shot heard round the world, because that started such a revolution of ideas to come over the world, as the Americans' idea of the people being in charge of the government and the government serving the people would soon spread and lead to a new, like I said, a revolution, a change of ideas around the world. Please watch these two videos to give you a better idea of what happened at this battle. After Lexington and Concord, the people from the colonies met together again and came together in May of 1775. They made some decisions on what to do at this point. They organized a Continental Army. This was a professional, regular army that would be ready to defend the colonies against the British. They nominated George Washington Commander-in-Chief of these armed forces. Please watch this video to show what happened when he was nominated at the Congress. They also decided to try one more time to send a petition or to ask the king to address their grievances, to address the fact that they were not being allowed the English liberties of this as the same as the citizens of England. It was the last attempt to get King George III to do this. If you watch this video, it'll show you King George's reaction to this petition. They also agreed to draft a Declaration of Independence just in case they did not have a favorable response from King George III. They brought together 5 men on a committee. Thomas Jefferson wrote the majority of it, but edited by John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Robert Livingston, and Roger Sherman. We did have a brain snack. If you will go to this tiny URL up here, it'll take you to the video about the reaction from King George. And then we answered these questions on page 40. That's the extent of our lesson. We went ahead and did a quizzes afterwards to see how much we remembered and where we were at. We will have a test this Thursday. Of course, I like to call them celebrations of knowledge. This Thursday. Study guides will be given to you on Monday, which is October 9th. And tutoring will be available on Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, and Thursday morning. Wednesday morning will not be available. I will have duty in the cafeteria. So, anyway, thanks for watching.